Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. For today's card, I'm going to be showing you how to create a scene using a whole bunch of die cuts. So I'm using this die set by Simon Says Stamp. This is the Trees and Trunks die set, and I cut a whole bunch of the pieces out of some Nina Solar White and some vellum. I'm going to be leaving most of these pieces white, but I did want to blend some color onto a couple of them. For a couple of them, I used the Distress Oxide ink Tattered Rose, and then for a couple more, I used Simon Says Stamp Fog ink. When I started coming up with the idea for this card, I had a color scheme in mind, and that was white, pink, and gray, and also lots and lots of glitter and metallics. So next I'm going to add some very simple patterns to a few of the different tree elements with some paint markers. So this first paint marker that I'm using is a gold marker, and I'm just adding very simple stripes, and I don't even care if they're not perfectly lined up. I kind of like that freehand look. And for the next one, I'm adding some polka dots. I do have to apologize for my lighting in this video. I don't really know what was going on, but for some reason this night my lighting just was awful. I am currently working on trying to figure out how to get some new lights for my craft area so that I can have better quality videos. Anyways, the other color of paint marker that I used is this silver one, and right now you can see that I'm doing another simple pattern. I did some lines in kind of a checker pattern for this. It took a little while, but it was really easy. And then again, I did a really simple polka dot pattern. You can't really go wrong with polka dots. At this point, I was ready to start assembling the scene that I wanted to make, and I'm going to be creating it on a piece of Gina K slate cardstock. I started by gluing down my 3 largest triangle trees with my Gina K Connect glue. And I just want to say that before I started gluing anything down, I arranged them and found a layout that I liked so that I knew what I was going to do. And I took a picture of that layout so that I could kind of follow that. I think it would be a lot harder to just go for it and figure out the layout as you're going, because you could totally mess it up. You could end up with something you really don't like. So I like to really plan out these kind of things. Next, I started to add some of these taller trees. For one of those, I just added the trunk without any circle on it, but for the other 3 that I'm going to be adding, I do add the circles to the tops, and I cut those out of vellum. After that, I started to add some of the smaller triangle trees, but you'll see here that I ended up changing something a little bit. I had this small triangle tree with the stripes on it right next to that big triangle tree with the stripes on it, and I really didn't like the look of the 2 striped trees next to each other, so I just glued another small triangle tree right on top of the first one, and I left that one without any pattern on it, and I liked that one much better. Sometimes when you're creating and something just isn't working, there's usually a way to fix it, and you just gotta kind of think about it until you can figure it out. So all of the trees that I add from this point on, I popped up with foam tape so that I could add a little bit of dimension to this scene. For the rest of the tall trees with the vellum on top, I made sure to put that foam tape only behind the trunk and not behind the vellum, because if it's behind that vellum, you'll be able to see it through the vellum, and that's not going to look as nice. I was really liking the way that this scene was turning out, but when I was planning this card, I wanted lots and lots of sparkle and glitter and shine. I was joking with a friend of mine that my color palette for this card was glitter. So here is where I really bring on the sparkle. I took out my Nouveau Moonstone Glimmer Paste, and I'm going to use a paintbrush, and this is a paintbrush that is pretty cheap. You don't want to use a really good paintbrush because it can ruin the paintbrush. And I just used that to add some of this sparkly glimmer paste onto some of the trees. I absolutely love this glimmer paste. It is so sparkly. Another way that you could kind of create this same look would be by using some glitter paper. But personally, I don't own any glitter paper. I know it's crazy. I need to get myself some, but I don't own any, so this is how I added the sparkle and the glitter. I also took my Wink of Stella glitter brush and I added some more sparkle onto the vellum on the trees. I wanted these trees to shine. I wanted this to be a crazy winter wonderland. Once I finished adding all of the glitter, I let it dry and then I used my tonic trimmer to cut down some of that slate cardstock around my scene. I used my ATG gun to adhere this panel onto a piece of vellum, and then I cut that down so that there's a vellum border around the edge. And then I took that whole piece and I popped it up with foam tape onto a card base. For the sentiment, I pulled out a Lawn Fawn stamp set. This is the Holiday Helpers stamp set, and I took the Merry Christmas stamp from that, and I stamped it onto some Nina Solar white cardstock, and I embossed it with a silver embossing powder. I added a slate border around the sentiment strip, and then I used a combination of Gina K Connect glue and foam tape to adhere that onto my card. I had to use the two different kinds of adhesives for this sentiment strip because I'm placing it across my scene onto an uneven surface. So I have the foam tape in areas where there is no foam tape on my scene, and I have the Gina K Connect glue on areas where there already is foam tape on my scene. Next, I'm going to add even more die cuts to this scene. I took the Lawn Fawn die set called Mini Snowflakes, and I cut a whole bunch of the snowflakes out of some Nina Solar white, and then I adhered them onto my scene above all of my trees. I added a few of these pink half pearls to the middle of a few of the different snowflakes. After I finished adding those, this card is all done. I absolutely love the way that this card came out. I was really happy with all of the glitter and the sparkle, and I really like the color palette. This is one of my favorite color palettes for Christmas. Thank you for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed this card showing how to create a winter scene using a bunch of die cuts. All of the supplies that I used today can be found in the description down below. If you enjoyed watching and you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button so that you can see all of my future videos. I'm going to be back with a new video on Monday. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good weekend.